On YouTube, views are not king. Many who are new to YouTube mistakenly believe that the more views a video gets, the more views it will get. But this simply is not the case. Sharing your video in the wrong place can temporarily boost views, but if those people aren't super interested in your video and click away, then your video will be less likely to be further promoted by the YouTube algorithm. So if views aren't king, then what is? The title may have already spoiled it, but the answer is watch time. That's right. The more minutes of watch time that your video racks up, the more likely YouTube will be to promote it. That means audience retention is a massive part of success if you want to be seen. So how does one bolster watch time, audience retention, whatever you want to call it? Today, we are going to cover the complete guide to doing just that, so you can get all of the wonderful, beautiful attention that your amazing YouTube channel surely deserves. My name is Grant Ball. I'm the creator of the YouTube channel Treeskull, which is not too far from 1 million subscribers. I'm of course here today with my co-host Augie Johnston, creator of the channel Baller Bootcamp with over 200,000 subscribers. He's also the founder of VidChops, a flat-rate video editing service that has obliterated the video editing bottleneck that so many YouTubers deal with. Augie, are you ready for watch time to never be a problem again?
Oh yeah, let's do this.
Let's do it! Alright, here's the reason that good watch time can be so tricky. Fact is, audiences are fickle. There's a lot of good videos out there, a lot of things to watch, and that means if your video is boring or just isn't cutting it, then viewers will likely click away to another video because there's an endless supply of content that is constantly being replenished all the time. So, the main question here is, what are some tried and true methods to make sure that your most important statistic here gets bolstered? One thing to keep in mind is there are actually standards here. So this isn't all just subjective woo-woo. There are actually objective actions that you can take to really make sure that your videos are getting promoted and everything. So the first thing that I would personally recommend is to focus the most energy towards the beginning of your video. We have talked about this a little before, but I think it's important to reiterate that the more energy you put in the first 20% of your video, the more likely people are going to be to watch through the entire thing. You want to make sure that you hook them, and I think when people use the word hook with trying to keep people's attention, it can be a little misleading, like it needs to be the first 5 seconds or 10 seconds even. But really, it's the first couple minutes for, say, a 10-minute video that really make people think, do I want to watch this video or not? So focus the most energy in the beginning. So like Augie, when you were doing Baller Bootcamp and making these videos, did you try to put lots of glitz and glam or whatever you want to call it towards the beginning? And did you see that that helped?
Yeah, to be honest, I was not really making videos back there with all that in mind, with all the YouTube algorithm and all that kind of stuff. I mentioned it before, but I was like doing some heavy batch recording, where I was recording, a lot, like 10 videos in a day sometimes even. And so I wasn't, but now in the videos that I create, for VidChops channel and just when I help other people, yeah, there's a heavy emphasis on the hook, right, at the beginning. But one thing I did do, I would say, is I would just reiterate the fact that, hey, in this video, you're going to get this. And, my videos were tutorial and pretty much value based, right? Just trying to give as much value in the basketball world as possible. And so I would tell them, hey, they clicked on for a ball handling video. Hey, in this video, I'm going to give you the best ball handling drill that I know for helping you improve your handle so that you'll be able to X, Y, and Z. And I still was wise enough to do that at the time. But yeah.
So you'd like still give a summary of what the video is going to be on towards the beginning.
Exactly. Yeah. Because I think when you click on a video, you want to make sure that you're there and you're going to get the information that you want. I mean, if you're on the wrong tutorial, then that's not going to equal any watch time. People are clicking away.
Totally, yeah, and this is a great method as well that you just mentioned, where you just kind of talk about what the viewer should expect from this video. Because yeah, sometimes you click on a video and it just takes too long to get to the point, and if you can immediately establish this is what this video is about, and then jump into it, it is very effective, especially for how-to videos like you were making, and how to make a jump shot, how to dribble between your legs, how to be the best basketball player ever.
Yeah,
this works great. Yeah.
yeah, and I'll go ahead and add one more thing. I lost my train of thought. It's all good.
Sorry, I kind
No,
of
it's all
interrupted
good.
you.
I messed it up. I was like trying to be eager to come in, but I came in too early. Um, let's just keep going. Go ahead. Did you know what you were gonna say next?
uh,
I
no,
lost
I
what I
was
was
gonna
gonna
like.
say. What was it? I was gonna say.
Thanks for dealing with this, Julius. You're great.
Yeah. Uh,
Uh, okay. Yeah, I think I know how to
you got
continue
it.
it from
Okay.
here.
Let's
All
go.
right. All right, so we've covered the amazing method of summarizing in the beginning of your video so that people know what to expect. Next, God, okay, here we go. This one for real. All right. All right, so we've covered the amazing method of summarizing what your video is about in the beginning so that people know what to expect. Another great method is to release your content the same time of day or day of the week. And the reason this is effective is people like to be in the habit of watching your videos. So I know when I was starting Treesicle with my team, we would release every single Thursday. And we would get comments like, man, every day after school I like run home and I look forward to seeing your video. Like Thursday was the Treesicle day for some people out there in the world. And I think if you can kind of establish that, if you release every day around lunchtime, or you release every Thursday or Friday or Saturday or whatever, then you can kind of like get associated with certain days of the week in a lot of your audience's mind. I know this sounds a little like I don't think it sounds manipulative, but it's very effective. And like, so Augie, did you ever cater your release schedule to certain days of the week, or were you just kind of like throwing out content?
I was a strict once a week guy, and I did that for 4 straight years, where every single Wednesday at 6 p.m. is actually when my video came out, which is kind of an odd time, but that's just what I
Mm.
chose. And yeah, I think like when you said like you had somebody comment on your video that they run home from school and watch your video on a certain day and time, that reminds me of my childhood before YouTube, when I would do the exact same thing, except for I was watching it on TV, right? So it's almost like if you release weekly or maybe bi-weekly or however often you release it in the same schedule, then you're going to get that same effect, but just kids are not watching cartoons on TV or Power Rangers, they're watching YouTube.
So, and I think it's interesting you chose 6 p.m. as the time to release your videos. Like, was there a particular reason you chose 6 p.m. or the day of the week that you did, or was it just kind of like it worked with your schedule?
A little bit of both, but mainly I just thought it was like good NBA time when there could be some NBA games on. There's a timeout, and so when you
Mm.
watch sports, there's a lot of commercial breaks where you might just swipe open YouTube and search. You might be amped up, right? I'm gonna make it to the NBA, and you might at that moment search on there how to do a crossover and find my video.
Gotcha. So, it sounds like you're sort of saying as more general advice. Like, you can cater your release schedule to whatever niche you happen to be occupying. So, in your case, you were kind of basing it around when NBA games were on, because people could watch these games, get fired up, start googling how to play basketball, and bam, your video pops up because it was just released like 15 minutes ago. I think that's genius.
Yeah, I think everything comes back to the avatar, to the dream viewer, to the person you want watching your video, right? I mean, and you got to get into their head a little bit and think, what time are they going to be opening up YouTube looking for a video, right? I mean, it's a confusing topic. When's the best time? I mean, you could Google that and find 100 different answers, and you will find multiple different answers. But there are some, when you look into your analytics, you can definitely figure out what time you should be releasing. But when you're starting a new channel, you just don't know.
Yeah, totally agree. And yeah, I think you can kind of start with your intuition, and then as you're releasing videos, you can go into your analytics and actually see the times of day when your videos tend to get the most views. And you can kind of start catering to that if you want, because obviously your personal schedule is very important. If releasing every Friday or something is easier than Wednesday, then you should go with Friday because it's going to be easier to be consistent. But time of day still, I think, is a relevant factor that we should all be taking into account. Yeah, like I noticed with Treesicle that if we released around anywhere between 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Pacific time, that was really good because there were a lot of people who were on their lunch break, or if they were on the East Coast, they were done with work and school. And a lot of people get out of school between like 1 to 3 p.m. So it kind of like hit a lot of bases with that time. And, you know, I think whatever your channel happens to be, that could be different for you. All right. So another very effective strategy with increasing watch time is okay. Let me restart that. Okay. All right. Next on the list, we have utilizing comments. And this one is a big one that I think a lot of people don't use very often. Some people can be shy about trying to engage with their audience, asking people to comment on a video, but really it's not about what you say, it's about how you say it. So if somebody leaves a comment on your video, they're kind of more dedicated to it already. So let's say you, at the beginning of a video, decide to shout out a comment that somebody left a week ago. This is a great strategy because it's kind of telling people, hey, I read comments, I respond to them, and you may even get a shout out if you comment. So by doing that, by giving a shout out towards the beginning of a video, then you can really instill people with a sense of like there's a little community that's happening here. And people like communities. It's good to have a lot of interaction with your audience here. So, God, I'm a little bit off today.
It's hard. It's hard when you have a lot to go off of. It's easy to riff, right? When it's
totally.
The more scripted it is, the more challenging.
Right. That's a very good point.
But
okay.
It's more better. I mean, I think it's going well.
Yeah, I agree. Especially once Julius works his magic.
Yeah.
Love you, Julius. All right. Okay. So, shouting out comments works very well, makes people more likely to want to comment. Then, of course, responding to comments is a big thing. So, if you're always hearting or liking or straight up responding to comments, people are going to notice. They're going to want to leave comments more often because they'll want to interact with you. So, every time you respond to a comment, the viewer will get a notification that you responded, and then they'll end up responding again, usually, and then you can respond again. And it just like, it tells YouTube there's a lot of interaction happening with your video. And again, with the whole, if people are commenting on your video, they're more likely to watch it all the way through. Like, all of these are great reasons to really, really utilize comments here. Another thing you could do is to ask questions that people will answer in the comments. So some examples of this are, what did you like about this video? What do you want me to cover next? How did you feel about this one part in particular? Maybe there's like something about your video and there's something controversial in there. I think it's good to ask people about controversy or things that may have multiple opinions, and they'll actually tell you. Like, don't be shy about asking your audience questions. You'll want to ask them. And then, like, how did you find this video? That's Jesus. Okay. All right, I'm just gonna throw you a question here. All right, Augie. So, with your basketball channel, would you ask people questions in the comments? Like, did you find that there was kind of a little community that you had going? If so, what kinds of questions would you ask?
Yeah, so I think one of the main questions that I would ask, and I would ask it, you know, normally in the end of my video, I would say, hey, you know, give me more video ideas. You know, what do you want to learn? What do you want to know? And you mentioned that earlier, and I think that's one of the best ways to ask for comments. You know, you said some people might feel a little awkward asking in their video for people to comment or whatever, but you should ask for you know, what they want more of, because that's great video topics right there to make videos on. And so that's what I did do. Also, yeah, I would get in there and you know, I was actually, when I started my channel, I was a reply to every single person. That was how I did it for as long as I could. I don't know if I did it for the complete time that I ran the channel, but I did. I know for multiple years I did, and it does help you because people will get back to you and they're coming back to your video. So imagine you're bringing them back to your video when it comes to watch time. They're probably watching another video, you know, since then. They might comment back to you and then get suggested another one of your videos and click it, or maybe you can watch the same one. But I mean, that's powerful to bring people back to your channel by using comments. You need a little back and forth there, but what you'll see is, you know, you'll build these super fans that will, you know, like you for replying to them and for interacting with them and having a little back and forth, right? And then they'll just start watching your videos longer, because then they'll actually like you. They're not just gonna be like some distant person, you know, across the world they'll never interact with, but they've actually interacted with you. Who knows? They might even tell their friends, "Oh yeah, well my boy Augie, yeah, he plays basketball in Europe. Who's your boy, Augie?" That's happened, you know. It's like, oh, I just watch them on YouTube but I'll interact with them, right? And I do build relationships. I mean, you do with the people that watch your videos online. There's some awesome people out there.
Totally. And so I'm just curious, would you use the YouTube Studio app on your phone? Because I really like getting a notification that somebody commented, and then you can kind of, I don't know, you're like waiting in line at Walgreens or something. You get the notification, bam, you reply real quick. It's like you can kind of be efficient with your time. Did you do that?
This was before that app. So right, the Baller Bootcamp channel was before the actual Studio app, I think. Maybe not. I could be wrong on that. So I think it was last time I uploaded there was like 2017 or something. But no, I wasn't using the app, but I was just always on my laptop, just in the back end of YouTube and stuff like that. Because I like to type. Yeah, I like to type. Man, I'm old school. I like to, you know, type instead of hitting the keys with the thumbs. I'm old school.
It's probably healthier that way anyway, where you're not constantly getting beckoned by your phone. But hey, if you're feeling obsessed and you're like, I just want YouTube on the mind all the time, you could, anytime somebody comments, imagine you get brought back to the YouTube headspace. Could be magical, could be horrible. Yeah, up to you.
If you reply quickly, right, I could really see you start getting in some back and forths. So that's a cool tip.
Totally. And you know, the best is when you get like troll comments on your video and you try to troll it back, and then it becomes a big troll war. It can be fun, like though be careful about responding to negativity, but it can be fun. I don't know. you're bored out waiting for coffee, and then bam, you're talking to somebody who may or may not like you.
Yeah, I would say that's a whole nother podcast episode, man. I like that one. Let's do that.
Dealing with negativity.
Yeah.
And trolls. Oh my god. Yeah, that'd be huge. Probably the most important part of YouTube, now that I think about it.
Just, that's definitely an issue. And, you know, all new YouTubers, you know, in the forums I am, like the Facebook groups and the Discord groups and stuff like that, they, the new ones that are starting to see success, always that's the first question. How do you deal with them?
Yeah, how do you put your armor on and keep going another day? And, but we won't go on a tangent there. We're talking about watch time today, aren't we? So, all right. Negativity aside, let's look at the hard, cold, useful numbers. So the best way to get analytics on what your audience retention is, if you're unfamiliar, is to just go to your channel page, click the Manage Videos button, then click the Analytics button, then choose the specific video that you want to see. So once you get into this kind of graph menu, you will actually see a real-time readout of what parts of your video are very popular, which parts are keeping viewers engaged, and which parts are boring people, essentially. So you might see like the first 20% of your video has a huge dip, like 30% of your audience clicked off. What that'll tell you is that, hey, the beginning of your video could use a bit more entertainment value. Maybe you didn't get to the point. Some people, they'll kind of like ramble about personal things for a while. But you really don't want to do this, and you want to try different things at the beginning of your video and then compare the audience retention for each of your videos. And this is really useful because, like, it's easy to tell yourself, oh, that joke was really funny, or this was an awesome intro, but unless you really look at the hard numbers, you don't necessarily know if you're right. So, like, you don't want to be too calculated about this. Don't become a robot, but, like, really, you should see trends on what's working and what's not. And eventually you'll be able to develop a kind of formula for the beginning of your videos that'll keep people engaged, and you don't have to think too much about how to start off your videos. So make sure to look at this menu. Audience retention is critically important. Really, I mean, like, why would you not look at this data? Some people, they avoid the analytics category altogether, but it's not that complicated. YouTube has done a great job of laying things out and making it easy to understand everything. And then, of course, once you're in analytics, you can also see geographic data. So, like, which countries are watching your videos, which genders are watching your videos. Are you more popular with men or women or whoever? And all of this can kind of show you the hard numbers on who you should be appealing to, what time zones are watching. And once you do this, it can just become clear what you need and what you should do. Like, and so, Augie, I'm curious, did you notice, like, there was one gender or one country in particular that stood out to your channel? I'm guessing it was the United States and males that mostly watch your videos. Am I wrong?
No, you're right, but I will give you one more guess as far as what do you think was the second country that was watching my videos the most?
I'm gonna guess Canada.
Ooh, that's a good guess. But if you knew a little bit about the popularity of basketball in the Philippines, right? So the Philippines, I had a huge audience in the Philippines. And it was, the crazy thing was, eventually once we kind of had a Facebook group that was kind of related to the channel, we'd link people and tell them, hey, join the Facebook group. There's a lot of people from the Philippines joining in there, and it was just pretty interesting to learn just how popular basketball is there, and to be able to coach them up, right? They're posting videos in the Facebook group, you can coach them up. And but yeah, that was our second traffic source, I guess you would say, as far as the demographics go. Yeah.
Huh, that's interesting. I never would have expected that. So, was there anything that you did to, like, appeal to the Philippines to kind of utilize this information, or did you just kind of keep doing your thing?
Yeah, I just was doing my thing. It's just, like I said, basketball is huge there, and they're really into technology and stuff there, and the internet, and they're online, definitely on YouTube. So, yeah, it was a cool surprise.
Totally. And at the very least, it's really interesting to look at this data. I found it kind of inspiring. Like, it'll show you a map and where people are watching, and it can really tell you, hey, you have a global reach here. Like, when you're posting content, people from all over the world are watching, and that can be really inspiring just to, like, look at it and to see it for real. Like, when it's all laid out before you, I find it is just it's interesting to look at, like, even just once a month, kind of clicking in and looking at who's watching is, I find it fascinating, and it's a big deal. Would highly recommend. So, but getting back to the idea of audience retention, is there a magic percentage of watch time that you think people should go for? So, for instance, 40% seems to be a pretty standard number for, like, good watch time on an average length video. So in this case, like a 10-minute video. I think I remember you saying in the past, Augie, that a lot of your videos would hit 40%. I also find 40% is kind of like most videos tend to be around there. Was that your threshold of, like, success? Was it something else? What'd you see?
Yeah, when you first asked the question, the number that popped into my head first was definitely 40%. That's what I think maybe the industry standard, you could say, that's what you're shooting for. And yes, I was getting that on my Baller Bootcamp videos. The problem with Baller Bootcamp, and the reason that I don't think it ever was like a million subscriber channel, was because my videos were also very short. So I was getting that 40%, but keep in mind, you guys, 40% is on a 1 minute, 30-second video, which I think some of mine even were, is not a lot of watch time. And it's not really a percentage game in the end. It's kind of a total minutes game. I mean, I think you can look at both factors. You know, if all your videos are 10 minutes, then that's kind of like the the other industry standard, or like what you're going to see often on YouTube is a 10-minute video. So 40% on that is 4 minutes of watch time in comparison to, a minute 30. 40% is not much watch time at all. So, as you get up into your 20, some channels we reviewed here have 30-minute videos, right? So a 40% watch time there, now that's respectable, right? And I would say that a 40% watch time on a 30-minute video will probably beat a 10-minute video with 40% watch time. That's a little bit of a blanket statement, but I think that that would hold true with how I've seen the algorithm work, because you're just getting that much more watch time, and just make sure you have enough ads on that video too, so YouTube's getting its money's worth off that video, because you could have a lot more ads, and YouTube's algorithm is going to want to promote it for that reason.
Yeah, totally. That is one useful thing. I think the threshold used to be 10 minutes to have mid-roll ads, but now they've dropped it down to 8 minutes. So if you're 8 minutes or longer, then you can put mid-roll ads, and YouTube, as you said, will be more likely to promote it. And I liked what you said about longer videos being a good idea too. We've talked about this a little in previous episodes, but the advantage of long videos is they have more potential to blow up. So, like, if a video is 40 minutes, and as you said, you watch 40% of it, that's going to be way more minutes that will be racked up in total than a 10-minute video. So, obviously, it's more work to make a longer video, but it may be worth it to make those longer videos if your audience retention is going to be exactly the same anyway. And this is just a thing that is very wise to pay attention to. And I think especially in the early days of a channel, when you're still kind of feeling things out, you do want to experiment with different lengths of videos. Like, don't just stick to 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 40 minutes, whatever. Like, try different things and see what you're comfortable with. And like, the longer the video that you're comfortable making, the better, in my opinion. Of course, it does depend how often you're willing to release, but again, experimenting with longer videos can make a video more likely to succeed, just because audience retention doesn't go down. All right, next. This is a very interesting idea. After a formal video, do something informal. So what this means is usually you have an idea for a video, you've told the story or given the information, and once that video is over, you have an opportunity to just kind of speak from the heart to the camera, or even just to the microphone if you don't want to show your face, and just kind of talk to your viewers on a personal level instead of in a scripted format. This can actually be very effective. I did it with Treesicle in the early days of Treesicle, and we ended up not doing it after a while because it was like, I don't know, I guess we thought it was more work. So again, we would have like our video, and then at the end, we'd just kind of have some funny little skit where we're on camera, and if it was a Minecraft video, then at the end we'd like dress up and kind of just do stupid things dressed as Minecraft characters for like 30 seconds. And I think it just kind of added a layer of depth, and I regret that we stopped doing that. I think when the outro of your videos is kind of generic and you just have an end slate with videos to click on, it is good to have videos to click on, but if you don't have something kind of unique or personal there, it can make people just not end up watching all the way to the end. I think a lot of people lose a lot of watch time during the outro, because if you have 20 seconds or 30 seconds at the end and it's kind of boring, or again, just like a slate with videos to click, then people aren't going to watch all the way to the end. So if you have something personal or funny or whatever, then you can really keep people here. So I think it's great advice. You do want to make sure that you're comfortable doing it. If you have this great polished video, but you're not as comfortable with the casual style of things, then, maybe wait till you are comfortable. Experiment, try new things. Don't like make cringe at the end of your video, but not that you would, because you're awesome and amazing. But just something to keep in the back of your head. Maybe you've had ideas for skits, and instead of making a whole new YouTube channel, you could just put it at the end of a video. Would highly recommend this. Have you seen anybody do this successfully, Augie? Like who you thought they really just nailed it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, this kind of reminds me of like bloopers in a way, right? I mean, it's like a little
Mm,
Easter egg at the very end of a video. And if you do it enough times, people start looking forward to that. And when normally they might click away from your video after some percentage watch, they might stick around because they know that there's going to be that little joke at the end that they're sticking around for. But yeah, it kind of reminds me of bloopers. But I know you're talking about something even slightly maybe more work than just bloopers, right? Because bloopers is be like very minimal effort there. Bloopers are already there. We had plenty in this episode today. Uh, so so yeah, bloopers or yeah, but I have not seen this strategy done super often, right? But it's really making me think. It's almost like those drinks, the Sobe cans. I don't know if you ever drank a Sobe. It's like a just a
yep.
certain type of drink. When you take the cap off, you look underneath it, and there's like some text written there, like just a little saying or something. But it's like that's what you want, that little Easter egg at the end of the video. It kind of reminds me of that for some reason.
Totally. Yeah, and like this is a good way to show people that you're an ordinary person creating videos, and that does make you more relatable, more approachable. Again, with like wanting people to comment. If people feel like they know you on some level or they have an idea of who you are on some level, then they're going to be more likely to interact with you, like your video, subscribe. It's like the small amount of effort it takes to like a video or comment can like people don't necessarily want to do it unless they feel like there's something in it for them. And if they connect with you on a personal level, then, well, they're going to want to talk to you. And then if you're responding to comments on top of that, then this is just a great way to keep your little community engaged. Yeah, thus would highly recommend 10 out of 10. Okay. So formatting, yeah, this doesn't really have anything to do with watch time, does it? Um,
Um, the format, I don't know. It's talking about thumbnails, tags, descriptions, info cards. I think we just wrap it up.
I
We're,
could talk
we're
about playlists.
playlists. Oh, okay.
Sure,
Um, yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of maybe other little ideas, but yeah, let's go. We can go playlists.
sure. I'll do one more, and then we could wrap it up after that.
Sounds good.
All right. All right, those are all some great methods for increasing watch time, but here's one that's like no extra work at all, but is extremely effective. So, making playlists can be huge because if people watch all the videos in a playlist, then you just racked up way more watch time than if somebody only watched one of your videos. And there's multiple ways you can do this. Obviously, just putting a bunch of relevant videos in a playlist together. So, for instance, on Treesicle, we would have a Mario playlist of all of our Mario videos, or Link from Legend of Zelda, or our main show, Story You Never Knew. The point is, there's like a million different ways that you can group your content, and if people are really just feeling that type of video on your channel, then they can find the playlist and just watch the whole thing, or if not the whole thing, multiple videos within it. So playlists are very useful. And then, of course, you want to utilize end screens. So you can choose videos that are clickable at the end of your video, and you can say, hey, I'd recommend watching this because this video is awesome and I talk about this. And when you're kind of pitching previous videos at the end of a video, people are obviously going to be more likely to click on your stuff than to kind of go over into the suggested video tab. You want to make sure that you're like, if somebody's going to watch another YouTube video, you want to make sure that it's yours, because YouTube will include the watch time in, like, if somebody watches 2 of your videos, then you have doubled the watch time for your channel, right? Or not doubled it, but you know what I mean? Like, you've added 2 videos worth of watch time to your total watch time, as opposed to, you know, if somebody just watches 1 video and clicks off. So this is a huge way, is just to kind of keep people watching your stuff instead of somebody else's. So just make sure that you're pitching your own stuff in an exciting, fun way at the end. And, I mean, it's easy. It's like no extra work, and you're essentially just using content that you've already created. Some people really just miss the boat on this, and they're missing out on hundreds of hours of free watch time, because they're just not directing people towards where they should be going, which is to more of your videos at the end of their videos. So this is huge. Don't forget to do it. Please. All right. I think we can wrap it up now.
That was perfect. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, man. Good thing you. It's not in the morning time. You're all phlegmy. You're good right now. You got a tough one today. Keep going though. We're almost there.
Yeah, voice is good. Brain less so for whatever reason.
Yeah.
All the flying, lack of sleep. All right, here we go. When it comes to pleasing the YouTube algorithm, nothing quite does it like watch time. It's the only metric that we can truly call king or queen on YouTube. Everything else, besides your own feelings about your videos, of course. Jesus. Nothing else.
Dang, that sounded so good.
I know. Okay. Here we go. Round 2. When it comes to pleasing the YouTube algorithm, nothing quite does it like watch time. It's the only metric that we can truly call king or queen on YouTube. Nothing else, besides your own feelings about your videos, of course, matters as much as watch time. We've gone over the tried and true methods for bumping this key statistic up, so go on and try them out. If you'd like a written version of what you just heard here, you should totally check out the VidChops blog, which will be linked in the description, of course. The author of that blog is Buster the Rat. Sorry for stealing your ideas here, Buster, but you had a lot of good stuff to say, so I couldn't help myself. This was the Video Creator Podcast. Remember to follow or subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, whatever platform you happen to be listening or watching on. That's all we got for today. It's been great talking to you. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.